Your turn to make something.
Okay. I've been in business. I sat there 5 years ago, and I hope he's watching. Somebody gave me a recipe just a few days ago, about a week ago, for an amazing product. It's cannoli. He gave me the recipe for cannolis. He makes cannolis in New York and Italian pastries, which is that cannoli cream. And he's so fantastically popular and successful that he has to send them refrigerated over the country. And it's very costly, but these are tremendous Italian pastries with cannolis and cannoli cream. So what I did, I think he inadvertently gave me his amazing recipe for cannolis. I don't know that he wanted to, but I was listening, and I'm always looking for things like this. Anyway, I took that recipe, and I went back to my kitchen in the store, and I played with it. And sure enough, this is, in my history of making ice cream, this is the most fantastic thing I've ever made. And it's cannoli ice cream. So we'll make some here. I've made it. I made it last week in the store, and it sold out like that. And then I made it again and a third time. My batches are about 8 gallons each. And I serve and store my ice cream in 1-gallon containers. He doesn't have those here. Yes, 1-gallon containers. These are the containers, not this hard plastic, but these are the size that I work with in the store. And the girls actually serve from that. All right, let's get down to it. We'll get into the cost of everything, but suffice, don't worry what you're spending on a batch of ice cream. You can't spend too much money. I figure my batches cost me about $40, $50, $60 a batch to make, which is ridiculous in the industry when you can take a jar of this and make a batch for, $10. But I don't do that, and you, of course, will make up your own mind. Let's make cannoli ice cream. So cannoli ice cream, we're going to start, in case you're not familiar, this is how your mix comes. It comes in these bladders, and the mix is a combination, Steve knows better, but it's skim milk, whole milk solids, a little bit of sugar, and I guess some other stuff. I don't know. So this, we're going to make it in this machine. My machine at the store, which you'll use tomorrow, those people, is a larger machine. So here we're going to make half a recipe. I feel like I'm talking way too much.
Is that a 14% mix for running? Water pan mix?
No, I hope not. I use, the question is this a 14% mix? Quick story. I use 10% mix, and that's what I've always used. About 2 years ago, my delivery person, this will come to you every week fresh, not frozen. And he delivered, he said, we're out of 10%, I have 12%. So what do I know? I said, okay. And I made a batch of ice cream, and the next morning I threw it out. I dumped out 8 gallons of that ice cream because to me, the 12% was gummy. It was too much. Just me. Now, understand something. All your businesses, whether it's a cart, a truck, a freestanding store, a franchise, whatever you have, will reflect what you think is the best ice cream. I think I make the best, well, I know I make the best ice cream in the world, but you have to think that way too. I like my ice cream a little sweeter, a little creamier, not fluffy, not airy. So I make it the way I like it. You can only be the judge of your ice cream. When you make it, it's got to reflect what you want. Now, certainly after a month and people are spitting it out, you realize, hey, I must be doing something wrong. I got to change this. But for the most part, how you like it will be different from everyone else in the world. You'll never make the same ice cream. You can use the same formulas, the same recipes, but you'll play with them a little. And you'll also play with the time it stays in the machine. You'll also play with how you store it, the size of the containers. All these things will make your product yours. So this is my product. Like it, not like it, it's okay. As I said, I sat there and I didn't like the product. No offense to Steve, he makes the best machine in the world. I didn't care for the product. I said, I can go home and make better ice cream, which is what I did. So let's start. I'm talking too much. We're going to start with 5 quarts. Now, this is 10 quarts. These bladders are 10 quarts. And tomorrow you'll see that I just dump a whole one in the machine. You will actually dump a whole one in the machine. But we'll take 5. And they're a little tricky to use till you get used to them. That's one of the great things about the class you'll go to tomorrow. You're actually going to do everything so that by the time, I don't want to really promote this, but by the time the class is over, you will be an expert on making ice cream and ices and cream ice, because you'll have done it so many times yourself. You'll handle this, you'll do all that stuff. Okay, so we have 5. Okay, we have 5 quarts of mix. This is ricotta cheese, the key ingredient in cannoli cream. This is, they go by, they say they're net weight 24 ounces, 1 pound, 8 ounces. But it's really, you go by weight in this recipe, and these are, I look at these as 2 pounds each. So believe it or not, we're going to use 5 of them. We're going to use 10 pounds of ricotta in this recipe. So we dump it in. I smell everything. And don't you know, once I smelled the mix and I didn't think it was fresh, so you know, you have to stop. It's a lot of ricotta. Get it? This an oil painting or an audience here? What are we doing? Now, he did tell me that the brand ricotta is crucial to your cream. And I agree with him. But, you know, I don't live in Manhattan, and I don't have access to that great Italian ricotta cheese. So I use this. It seems to work okay. You notice it just comes right out. Pretty easy stuff to work with. So that's 4, and this will be 5. So that's how many pounds of ricotta? Very good. Who makes those white containers? All right, so we have 10 pounds of ricotta cheese, which is a lot. They're $4 a container. So, and in my recipe, I use twice that in a full thing. All right, this is one of those things. This is a paint stirrer from Home Depot. They're $3, and I cut it down a little bit. It really works good. I have KitchenAids in my store, and you could write your name in the dust from them because of this. This is, my friend Kevin told me to do this, and boy, is it great. So, in order to, and we normally wouldn't have to because ricotta cheese is so soft you could put it right in the machine, but as you can see, it comes out in a big thing. Slap yourselves, you know, do something. Wake up.
Ice cream and power tools. How good?
Ice cream and power tools, that's it. Thank you. So what we want to do is, there's only 4 ingredients in this, and it's the ricotta cheese, sugar, vanilla, and the mix. Now we don't have, Steve doesn't have a big enough container to put all this in. But if you think about it, we don't have to. All we're going to do is put a little of this in there because we want to get it mixed. And then we're going to do the sugar. Well, first let's do the vanilla. This calls for a lot of vanilla. I usually use 1 ounce per quart. But because cannoli cream is so rich and good tasting, and ricotta doesn't have much taste to it, we're going to use an amazing 20 ounces of vanilla.
Is that extra or is that?
I beg your pardon. Tell me, what's the difference?
Well, if you're smaller.
Pure is more powerful. Not necessarily. No. They can make extract so a drop will knock your socks off. This is pure vanilla, and I use pure vanilla. I actually cut the beans and make my own vanilla, which you'll be there tomorrow, right? You'll see that. We make our own vanilla, and it's great stuff. Anyway, 20 ounces of this. And now all we have to do is mix it up and add the sugar. So first let's mix this up a little bit with a very high-tech variable speed drill and a paint thinner. And of course, we'll taste it now to see if I put in too much sugar.
So what, you put 5 pounds in?
I put a little over 5 pounds. Actually, no, 5 pounds. I put 5 pounds of sugar in. The bags are now 4 pounds, believe it or not. Okay, let's see. We're just trying to get that sugar dissolved as much as we can. All right, so we'll use this machine here. And that's what it looks like.
Jeff, what size machine is that?
I'm busy here.
Oh, sorry.
This is I think this is a 12 quart. Steve? Well, whatever. I think it's a 12 quart.
It is a 12 quart.
Thank you. Okay, so now we have to add the rest of this, right? And I'll pour it in here just so we get all the other good stuff, you know, the sugar and all that stuff. This flavor, not unlike vanilla, will expand a lot. So somebody figure out how much we used in ingredients, how many quarts. Or don't. We used 5 quarts of mix, 20 ounces of vanilla, so almost 6 quarts, 10 pounds, which is probably another 4 quarts or so of ricotta, and then 5 pounds of sugar. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. Let's put it on. Okay, it's going at 234 revolutions per minute. You don't have to write that down, man. And we'll get it all in there. Now, we didn't turn on the refrigeration yet. It's a 2-step deal. You know, you turn on the speed of the machine, then you turn on the refrigeration. Okay? How exciting is this?
Speed of the revolution. You offer that?
Do I offer it? What?
You alter the speed of the milk.
Do I alter it?
Right.
No. If you look on here, it says this. There are different categories, and the one I pressed said super premium ice cream. That's what we're making, super premium ice cream. Not a lot of air content, and it's really good. You'll love it. It's great. Okay, now we're ready to one more taste. Now that it's all shook up. The ricotta cheese I used isn't the best. Now, because I just picked it up this morning, it's not as smooth as what I like. So we'll see what happens. But mine is smoother, and yours will be smoother too. What brand was this? This is La Mangia. La Mangia. Okay, so here goes the refrigeration. Now, I don't use timers. We'll get into that later. So there you go.
Now, what are you doing here?
I forgot to add the chocolate chips
Oh
to
my
the
gosh.
ice cream.
Remember I told you at the beginning to remind me because I leave things out? It's actually for his benefit. We all do it. Which proves the point. You can't be talking to an audience. You can't be talking on the phone. You can't be serving a customer when you're making ice cream because you're going to forget the chocolate chips.
Forgot the chocolate chips.
That's okay. We'll forgive you.
Yes, sir.
You talked about the butterfat, and we were at a gelato shop in St. Pete yesterday, and they say their butterfat is 3% or 3.5%, and it hasn't been some of the best, thickest, densest product they've ever had.
Sure, because it's more like an ice milk. The question was, he went to a gelateria and they said the butterfat content was 3%. We can make a gelato at 3% too, but that you have to freeze something in the machine. You either freeze fat or you freeze sugar. If you leave one or both out, you don't have anything to freeze. The machine will not work. Even that little hand crank machine will not work without something to freeze. So when they take down the butterfat to 3%, they're upping the sugars. That product you ate was just loaded with corn sugar. Corn sugar makes anything dead smooth. And smooth is not a taste. Smooth is a texture. When we say, oh, we love those Fritos, they're really crunchy. There is no such thing as crunch as a taste. The Frito is the taste. So it tasted cold, but did you really want to eat something that was so high in sugar, you might as well have just taken a sweet tea and added 6 more teaspoons of sugar to it. Because that's basically what you were eating was sugar. And it was a cheap sugar, it was fructose. The Italians are famous for that. They do everything with powder. We do everything fresh. You've seen Jeff pour from a bag milk, cream, skim milk that came from the cow yesterday. The Italians use these powders that the cow was milked on the Pampas in Argentina. They spray dried it in an American machine made by Henningsen Foods, family friends of mine, and then they ship the powder in a big, huge tank over to Italy where they put it in these pretty bags. They ship it to the Port of Elizabeth where the mob adds on a little extra cost and then ships it to you. You then take this powder and you reconstitute it with water, and then you call that gelato. Now, how is that better than coming out of the cow yesterday? It isn't. That's why we make better gelato here in America than they do in Italy. Now, you say, oh, but I went to Italy, it was so great. Let me ask you a question. Where does a Heineken beer taste better? Underneath the number 4 subway at 170th Street in Jerome, where my factory was, the mugger mover up above and Murder a Week neighborhood, drinking a Heineken beer, or a Heineken beer on a Caribbean island, and you've got 2 weeks to sit on the beach. You know that beer tastes better on the Caribbean island. Same Heineken, but location. When you're in Italy, you're on vacation, everything tastes better.
Steve, I got a question. We were just talking about the overrun. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. We aren't really real close. But if I have a lower butterfat mix, am I expecting to see a higher overrun, or do I expect to see a less overrun?
Overrun and butterfat have nothing to do with each other as far as how the product is made. The overrun is controlled by the infinite overrun control, and we're the only machine that has it, where we can pick the air content that we want. The butterfat is what you buy, is butterfat.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we had a higher butterfat, it was harder to get overrun in it, because it was a thicker product more.
Okay, the question is it harder to get overrun into a higher butterfat? No, it's easier, because fat is what expands. When you have Italian ice, come on up and try this. Italian ice has no fat cells. Dairy product has fat cells. All right, I'm going to try this. Don't give him too much, because Connie's going to pack it up for me to take to various doctors.
Steve, let me ask you a question. Sammy, come here, girl.